Imagine swiping through a dating app and stopping at a profile that seems too good to be true. A man in a designer suit steps out of a private jet, grinning behind the wheel of a Ferrari. His name? Simon Leviev, son of a billionaire diamond mogul, or so he claims. For many women, this was the start of a modern fairy tale, an invitation into a world of luxury. Simon's online presence was a whirlwind of five-star hotels, exclusive parties, and international travel. He was the Prince Charming of the digital age, found not in a castle but with a swipe. The allure was magnetic, drawing people into his orbit. He was charming, attentive, and made each woman feel uniquely special. He painted vivid pictures of a future together, filled with love and adventure. The illusion was flawless, designed to disarm and impress. The luxury wasn't just for show, it was a tool to create legitimacy. Who would question a man who could fly you to another country for a first date? The scale of his apparent wealth made him seem beyond suspicion. This was the first, crucial step in a long deception. The fairy tale was about to become a nightmare. Simon Leviev's persona was a masterpiece of deception. He claimed to be the son of Lev Leviev, the king of diamonds, instantly gaining credibility. His Instagram overflowed with images of opulence, bodyguards, assistants, luxury cars, and private jets. Every post was calculated to overwhelm doubts and make his targets feel privileged. He sent videos from jets and hotel rooms, making his travels feel real. His entourage, including a bodyguard named Peter, added authenticity. By presenting himself as a billionaire's son, he seemed like a low-risk partner. Why would someone so wealthy need to scam anyone? The women believed they were dating a man with endless resources. The idea that he'd ever ask for money was unthinkable. Simon was building a fortress of credibility, one that would soon be breached. Once matched, Simon moved fast. Relationships escalated from messages to extravagant first dates in days. Cecilia Fjellhoy, for example, was whisked from coffee in London to a private jet to Bulgaria within hours. These grand gestures created an intense emotional bond. He declared love within days, spoke of marriage, and made the romance feel unique. Simon was attentive, loving, and made his victims feel like his top priority. The emotional manipulation was as important as the luxury. He sold not just a lifestyle but the promise of perfect love. By the time the scam began, the women were deeply invested. Their guards were down, they believed they'd found their soulmate. But the whirlwind romance was just the setup. After weeks of romance, the story took a dark turn. Simon would send panicked messages, photos of his bodyguard Peter, bloodied and bruised. He claimed they'd been attacked by enemies in the diamond business. Suddenly, he couldn't use his credit cards. His enemies could track him. He needed untraceable funds for safety. The urgency was overwhelming, and his vulnerability triggered a protective instinct. This is when he asked for money, credit cards, loans, anything to help him survive. He promised it was temporary and would repay them soon. To outsiders, it was a red flag. To his victims, it was a desperate plea from the man they loved. The trust he'd built made the request believable. They weren't helping a stranger. They were saving their partner. Victims like Cecilia took out loans, believing they were protecting their future. Fear and urgency replaced rational thought. The scam was in motion. Simon's scam was a romantic Ponzi scheme. Money from one woman funded luxury dates with the next. Victims' credit cards paid for flights, hotels, and designer clothes. As one woman sank into debt, another enjoyed the illusion of wealth. He promised repayment, sent fake bank receipts, and always had a new excuse. The psychological toll was immense. Victims lost money, trust, and peace of mind. They borrowed from banks, friends, and family, ruining their finances for him. Simon exploited love and compassion in the most cynical way. Every victim reached a breaking point. For Cecilia, it came when American Express revealed Simon's real identity. Shimon Hayut, a convicted fraudster. The man she loved never existed. The betrayal was devastating, financially and emotionally. Shame and isolation set in, but some chose to fight back. Cecilia contacted Norway's biggest newspaper, VG, sharing her story and evidence. Her courage sparked a deep investigation. Other victims, like Pernilla Sjöholm and Aileen Charlotte, came forward. They realized they weren't alone. The network of victims connected, sharing stories and exposing the scam. The house of cards began to fall. Journalists dug deeper and Simon's world started to unravel. The truth was out. The victims' voices became a force for justice. The investigation revealed Simon Leviev's true identity, Shimon Yehuda Hayut from Israel. He was not a billionaire's son, but a career con man with a history of theft and fraud. He'd fled Israel, served prison time in Finland, and reinvented himself as Simon Leviev. He legally changed his name to strengthen his fake backstory. There was no real business, just a web of lies. His luxury lifestyle was funded by his victims' debts. He was a predator, meticulously studying and exploiting his targets. He showed no remorse for the devastation he caused. The unmasking revealed a hollow man, living off stolen dreams. The Prince of Diamonds was nothing but a thief. While journalists investigated, Aileen Charlotte plotted her own revenge. Still in a relationship with Simon, she pretended to support him after learning the truth. She suggested he sell his designer clothes to raise money. He trusted her, believing she was his last ally. Aileen sold his clothes online, keeping the money to pay her debts. All the while, she gathered information about his whereabouts. When Simon planned to fly from Prague to Athens, Aileen tipped off the police. As his plane landed in Athens, authorities were waiting. In July 2019, Shimon Hayut was arrested at the airport. A victim's courage brought his reign to an end. It was poetic justice. The con man conned. The victims had finally turned the tables. The story was far from over. After his arrest, Shimon Hayut was extradited to Israel and convicted of theft, fraud, and forgery. He was sentenced to 15 months, but served only 5 due to COVID-19 prison reductions. Upon release, he returned to flaunting a life of luxury, never charged for his crimes against most victims. He denies all allegations, claiming innocence. The victims, still burdened by debt, bravely shared their story in the Netflix documentary, The Tinder Swindler. Their story became a global warning about romance scams. They started a GoFundMe to pay off debts and became advocates for fraud victims. The Tinder Swindler case is a stark lesson for the digital age. It shows how easily trust can be manufactured and exploited online. A curated profile can hide a predatory reality. The victim's courage turned tragedy into a cautionary tale. Their warning questioned what seems too good to be true. Protect your heart and your wallet.